Sheila, thank you for joining us today. We're thrilled to have you with us all the way from North Carolina.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Yeah. You got started in Tupperware. You started out as a consultant like everybody.
Yes.
What were you doing prior to becoming a Tupperware consultant?
I went into the field of corrections because I did want to help women, and I wanted them to know that they could make something better out of their lives when they might not have started with the best situation. And I worked hard to do that for myself, and I felt like I could make a difference there. So I studied criminal justice, and I worked hard and got 2 degrees in it, and that's where I was working happily when I was invited to a Tupperware party.
All right, so you go to a Tupperware party, and then what happens?
Well, I wanted everything. I had no Tupperware in my house, and I had been married a couple of years, and I thought I have to have this great product. And we have a term in the field called Tuppervirgin, and I was one, which means I had absolutely no Tupperware. So I thought, after evaluating the plan that was set before me, that I could get a great discount, and I also could offer it to my friends and family who may not have had some, just to make a little extra money, and that was the plan.
If you start to sell Tupperware, you can either make it a full-time career or a part-time job or just to get a little extra money, and that's what you thought, well, I'll get a little extra money.
Right.
And 10 years later?
10 years later! I know, I'm telling my age, but 10 years later, I'm still here, and I still love the opportunity, and I love now trying to give that opportunity to everyone I can at my parties and when I'm out in the community. So.
But this is your full-time job. You no longer work in a prison.
Absolutely.
And so how has your life changed?
It has changed tremendously. For the past 5 years, Tupperware has been my sole income. So I have not only doubled, sometimes tripled the income that I left, but I have flexibility. I'm able to be full-time mom to Kai and a wife to Ron, and also run a Tupperware business basically from my home. And it's wonderful. I love that I can get up and go, because working at my previous job, it was 40, 50 hours a week that had to be done, and that's all I had. And so now I just have so much more now.
Well, how many hours a week do you work right now?
Right now, I probably work about 20, 25 hours a week, and that includes doing my 2 parties.
Wait, you're working half the hours, but you doubled your income?
Absolutely. Not to mention the perks and the trips and the earnings and the jewelry and all the wonderful things that come along with it that I call my extras. So it's just, you know, money can't put a price on everything, and Tupperware has given me more than I think money could ever really put a price tag on. So.
The money is great, obviously,
Absolutely.
But you mentioned these other things, like the recognition. What is it that you think is really important?
Well, you know, I think recognition is important because it builds confidence. When you're working, even people on my team, I shower them with recognition, appropriate recognition, because as women, we go through our day-to-day routine, and we're doing this and we're doing that, and sometimes we don't get that thank you or great job for doing that. So I try to make sure I do that with my team, and with Tupperware, they did it for me, and they built my confidence to say, wow, I did that. And then when you go through ups and downs, like we all do, I can pull on those times and experiences to help me get back in my groove and into my zone, and help me with my confidence even more. So I think recognition is very important, especially in something like Tupperware.
You must have a lot of women that you've recruited who look up to you, and do they ask you for advice?
Absolutely. They want to know how they can stay home with their children. I have a 5.5-year-old, and I'm home with him up until he went to kindergarten, and they want to know that. They want to know how to have financial freedom to pay off bills, save extra money. They want to, you know, if it's marital issues, you know, they might just want to know something nice to do for their husband. So as women, we build those relationships, which is what Tupperware is all about. So yes, it's constantly giving advice, and I'm also learning from them as well.
Oh, that's great. That's really great. How many women do you think that you have helped in the last 10 years?
In the last 10 years, I average recruiting 80 to 100 people a year. Now, of course, we have a voluntary workforce, and I would be ecstatic if everyone stayed in Tupperware, but when I offer the opportunity, I tell them Tupperware may not be for everyone, but it's worth everyone giving a try. I've helped hundreds of women, and I continue to want to help even more, and we have a lot of women on our our team that stay connected. This business, you could go in and out, and when you make that connection, when they want to go out, they can, and when they want to give it another try, they come back and locate me, or I stay in contact with them. So it's a constant sharing with me and my business.
Being a female working in a prison, you had to have started with confidence, which helped you with your business. But a lot of women don't have that confidence when they first start as a Tupperware consultant. So how do you teach them to get the confidence that you have?
First of all, I want to address what it is that they're experiencing when they start something new. And just like I did when I started the prison, what they're experiencing is fear. And as women, that's what we all have. And we have that little thing telling us, well, maybe you shouldn't do that. Or are you really going to do that? So I help them address that. And by addressing it, I help them to overcome it by facing that fear. And I tell them to do it anyway. It's okay to do something afraid, because when you make that first accomplishment afraid, it gets easier and easier each time.
Well, Sheila, thank you so much. It's just awesome to sit here with you. You are just an inspiration, and I really appreciate you joining us.
Oh, thank you, Susan. Thank you for having me.